We need to talk. We need to talk. Because this past week, the kid and I have been dedicating our time and our wallet to the grand world of live service games. And it kind of made me think about things and how we're going forward, because right here we're in an interesting place with development teams, development studios, publishers, what publishers want and what developers kind of like get out of it, and what the consumer, i.e., the gamer, gets out of all of this. Because when we think about a product, the time that we put into it, and the value that we get out of the whole package, we've just learned to make things more compounded. I believe the big wigs, the business kids out there would like to say compounded interest or continuous growth in gross income. And studios have noticed that there is a, what I like to call, gold mine, when developers are able to create this universe, or there's this platform for the consumers, i.e., the players, to go attend to, therefore giving it value, therefore making it whatever it's intended to be, or maybe even more than that. And that means a lot, and I know that. But it's been a weird week, specifically because I've been trying to understand where everything is at. We've seen multiple studios close down within the last, I want to say 5 years, has just been a remorphing of the developing area. And it's been really weird and interesting to see how all this has just been taken for granted, I guess, is where we're at with this. Because when you hear about development studios really just honing in on the idea of, if we make 5 of these, we can just make continuous service revenue. And yes, that on paper, that's math. I love math. But when you neglect what makes a game or a product or a immersive experience, or what it is that people are looking for, and you sort of take that for granted, you end up in turmoil. The loss of the last of the greats, Shuhei Yoshida, and you end up with a pretty bad tattoo. Which, again, like, I don't dismind it. I'm okay with it. It's just the idea of what we came from. The first console I was able to unbox from a Toys R Us was the PlayStation 1. I have a kid sitting around there. And going from a 16-bit, because at that point we were rocking the NES and Genesis and Super Nintendos, Super Mario World was a shit. Up until the point going from a 2D spectrum jumping into a three-dimensional axis and understanding that that was a new frontier to experience. Like, I think I was like 4. I can't do math that well. But we were late into the game when we picked up the PS1. It was the remodeled, which is my favorite, the slim version. And just this world of wonder of what could have been, and seeing how Mega Man went from 2D to being Mega Man Legends, which made this very interesting story, immersive like moment. Finishing Mega Man Legends will just be a top-notch moment because it felt like if beating Aladdin on SNES was my first finished completed game, and understanding the narrative of that game through the Disney movies, understanding and finalizing a narrative of Mega Man from beginning to end, solely through the just what was happening in real time with characters. You think about movies and you think about how Hideo Kojima has really taken that idea of, I want to make movies, but I am a game developer, so I'm gonna make movies in this video game. And you get years of battles and like Konami fucking being weird, but you get Kojima Productions, you get an endeavor, an idea, a creation, and I wouldn't know what one has to go through to go to that point, or how far one has to take certain measures, but what you see is what you get, right? And I think that's where our intersection point is at, where we find teams or an idea or a vision or a creative head who has given enough to good amount, to good degree, to good success, right? And you see this bastion of creativity design a new era, and that's great, and that is life, and that is progression. But how far can we go? Can we run with that before it loses the touch? It loses a spark. It stops being what we wanted, and it starts metamorphosizing into a different purpose. And who has the right to speak up, or who has the calls? Shareholders, obviously. But because those choices influence hundreds, thousands of lives, livelihoods, jobs, creative endeavors, visions, finalize products, right? It bums me out that I, for the most part, we will never get a Gravity Rush 3. And that's simple. That's an easy fact. I don't think there's many people in the universe that would flinch too hard from that statement. But for the few people that really fucked with that game and had a moment, right, were able to pick up we're able to invest in the PS Vita, the stupid memory cards, and we're able to have a solid, immersive moment with that product. Whoever whoever came up with the idea of floating around with gravitational formation, I don't know, warpation, to use as a gameplay mechanic, really had a moment. And I don't think I've ever seen anybody else really replicate what that sense of freedom is. And not that everybody should, but someone did. And that shit was impressive. And they got another chance, and yeah, I loved it. And who knows if they will ever get a third chance, you know? My biggest disappointment or fear is that this developer or this team of developers, back then it was Team Japan Studios, that team will never be able to have that spark of creativity, the same creativity or the same vibes to either create a new title or something, a spiritual successor, a new idea, but that can be different. Don't know if you'll get them back or if they will ever come back around, but I can hope that the spark of creativity that drew this team, person, director, whatever it may be, might still have that same drive, that passion, the muse to want to make more, not just cash out in it, but improve, create, renovate. Because at the end of the day, trying to play catch up with zenlesszonezero while paying for a limited time battle pass of Call of Duty, while trying to separate a few days with the mates on Fortnite, and after just purchasing the Miku pass, right? It makes sense what they want. It makes sense. Service, money, funding, taxes, rent, sure, it makes, I get it, whatever. But time is something you can't replicate. Time is something that will slip past your fingers if you're not careful. And just because you can fucking pay for these shits, maybe it does, maybe you just stay home all day. Shut up, I didn't do anything. But you don't have to worry about paying rent, you don't have to worry about paying your cards, your bills. And then maybe you can have the time to comfortably play your battle passes when you pay for those as well. But then you would need finances to pay for your battle passes. Games are beautiful. I wish this was loaded to the 4K yet, but no, it's only going to be at 720p. But games are beautiful, man. They're amazing. They create, they provide a new way of experiencing different perspectives, motions, values, and I will never not care about these things. So I think it's important for at least me to try to speak up or say something when these things I feel are being treated less as respected less as a art, and being dangled around more as like poker chips, or it's just another stock exchange, which unfortunately it's what makes it's what runs everything. It's what makes everything go around. You know, stocks, markets, dips will stop productions, but these people see that we, the gamers, we, the lovers, the dreamers, will keep on buying these things, and for some fucking reason, the market decides to inflate its own prices by creating bots to upsell these products back to the people who are supposed to love these things, or are there to love these things, but are actually being gatekept by this brand new price tag where only the highest paying whales can enjoy. And that's the state of play. I love the song. But it's not all doom and gloom, because why did I make this? Why? Well, let me tell you. Assassin's Creed Shadows is coming out very, very soon. And although Ubisoft has plans to reinvigorate and generate more revenue, I don't think anybody, the gamers, the real actual gamers out there, the players, the industry analysts know that it's not looking good. So again, someone please try to explain to me, why is it that the people, the consumers, the people consuming the product seem to know more about which products to invest in than the board members, the head board members, you know? I'll make it easy. When I was playing Zenless, I felt a sense of dedication. A cool friend from Play Asia is out there. If you know, you know. Well, when these gatcha live service games do their thing, they're essentially trying to go for the emotional value, which is great because as you'll watch my zenlesszonezero playthroughs, our zenlesszone playthroughs, you'll see that there's a lot of hours in there, but there's a lot of time invested in there. Time that I normally could be doing a lot of other things, or normally would be given to other interests. But because it's just compiles everything, and then you get that final, I think I paid 20 for the pass, you get that final battle pass payment, you're in the system, and everything counting down is getting you to do what needs to be done. And there's a sense of desire and necessity to do these things because of the amount of investment that you've already put into it. And that is the emotional live service game. As far as Call of Duty, I fucking hated it. There was nothing like being stuck playing this that, you know, admittedly it's fun. I don't mind it. It's Call of Duty. I enjoy it. It's fun. You get shot, you get put in a shitty lobby, and then you move on. You back out and you move on. And that happened. But having to pay for the Splinter Pass separately was already like, all right, cool, well, fuck, all right, whatever, I'll just put this down. But having it be like a timed event, and then having it be just, it just felt like, again, going back to the time, these companies are like, oh, we got to keep them in here, like, so you got to get them invested and doing all this crap and trying to build up these levels and stuff. And like, sure, good for you, that works, that's smart. But at least, you know, when I'm giving it to Zenlesszone, it feels like it's something that I want to do. But when you're putting it into COD and then you're maybe not having the best of moments, it does feel like something that you're being forced to do, which is a huge dynamic. And then finally, Fortnite. Fortnite has been the weirdest winner, ultimate like amalgamation, because at the end of the day, nothing, I guess, when it comes to these lives, if you're gonna have to be forced to be playing these games for hours upon hours, or if you're gonna have to like be stuck grinding or being, you know, if you're gonna have to dedicate your time to something, the only way to make it like the best way to make it addicting is to add a friend to it. I get it. So not everyone has friends. I get it. That's cool. Don't worry. But everyone does, I think. Even because I've never had that online interaction friend thing, but I feel like in this generation, more and more people are into that or doing that type of thing. So even if you don't necessarily know who this person is, if you guys have ran enough games and you add each other, by definition, that is an online friend, and hence frienddom. So what is the secret sauce, and why do games like Fortnite, Call of Duty keep on, aside from, you know, having these expensive ass battle passes, character skins, everything on top of that? Gotcha for zenlesszonezero, fake grand order, what's the neat case with the gotcha shit, all that stuff. Aside from that, how come Fortnite and the multiplayer games have that mass appeal? I think the simple answer is camaraderie, the friendship. Because if you're both stuck doing this shit, then at least you guys have each other. And I think that's important. I think that's very important, because we have to understand again why make games. And of course, we started off by talking about Gravity Days. I will be the first to tell you that I love a good narrative, and I'd rather play a single story player game than to jump into a multiplayer game, again for the same reason of, you guys are having fun out there, you do your thing, I'm gonna completely content learning, feeling emotions, doing more stuff. Unless the homie goes, come on. And then all that shit I'll make a day for it, I'm a busy dude, but all that shit, put it aside to go do something with a homie. And that does wonders for the platform, that does wonders for the players, that does wonders for the amount of like skins and how many people are buying each other, people vibing off each other. it's something that was not gonna stop anytime soon, right? I don't know if anybody wanted me to like go on a rant about how, oh, this is terrible and blah blah blah, is gonna end the universe and blah blah blah, but there's no stopping it. It is what it is. All I really want to advocate is, what is the value? What is the true value of what we're putting into these things? You know, taking into account, counting time, finances, emotional investment, you know, like opportunities. These things, I feel the more that we can understand, and I understand that no fucking CEO is gonna be like, oh, this guy says he doesn't have all the time in the universe. Fuck this guy. It's a mafia kid for some reason. I understand that, but what about the workers? What about the developers? What about the consumer? What about everybody working to create the same fucking vision? Or else, what are you doing it for? And is that gonna work? And how is that working for you? How has that been working for you? I think anything is possible. I think we can still figure things out, and I think it's worth putting our heads together and trying to understand for whom or why are we making these games for. And I look forward to that. I look forward to dropping copious amounts of finances that I don't own to be part of the fucking cool kids circle, cool kids club, and we'll see what goes from there. But hey, as long as I'm there, as long as I'm trying, I hope you'll be there too. But until then, it's been your boy, EXP 626 Stitch, wishing you buenas noches, buenos días, and an awesome mañana. Ciao. Mátane.